So here we have the Blaven, Kate Davies design that I have knitted for Abby. I have laboured over this knitting. It is the most complicated thing I have ever knitted before, and I have enjoyed every moment of it. And now I'm going to hack it in half. So it's the first time I've tried steeks. I have crocheted. Come closer. I have crocheted the reinforcement down the middle, as Kate says. And as you have a look here, when you pull it apart, you can see these little ladders, and that's what I'm going to cut with my sharp, pointy scissors. Hopefully this will work and we won't end up sitting here crying, because we will have just destroyed a beautiful cardigan. Okay, so here we go with the cutting. We'll split it apart down there. There's the first bit to cut. I can't believe I just did that. I just cut the binding. The binding bound off stitches. And here I go, cutting the little ladders. I'm really glad I reread the instructions, because I had got my big red fabric shears and was planning to cut it with those. And then I read that Kate said, make sure you use little sharp pointy scissors. Okay, now Kate says if you have a look at this point, you will see that there is nothing falling apart. And it would appear she's right. She said that the crochet has squirreled away all the ends. So we continue to chop all the little ladder stitches, all those hours and hours and hours and hours of sitting on my butt, knitting the wool from beaver slide that flew all the way over here from Montana, and now I am cutting it. That just seems so inconceivable to me, that I'm cutting it. But there you have it. That's what a steek is. I keep telling myself that, you know, if it's a complete disaster, I can always just make a quilt binding and put that over the edges and sew it on the sewing machine. But everything else Kate has taught me with this cardigan, the temporary cast on and the groovy little pockets and the I-cord cast off, has all worked. So I have faith that this too will work. I must say though, the one thing that didn't work according to plan was when I was getting rid of the temporary cast on, which I used Lucy Neatby's crochet technique as specified by Kate, and Kate says to unzipper it. Well, there was no unzippering to be had. Instead, there was over an hour of unpicking every crocheted stitch in 3 steps. So clearly I did something a bit odd there. So we're almost through the countless hours of Buttercup. That's what colour this yellow is. We're about to hit the countless hours of Feral, which was really enjoyable. Here we go. Oh dear. See, this looks trickier already, because when you look on the other side, there's all those rows, all those, you know, yarn over bits where I had to weave it all in. This feels seriously dangerous now. The other felt quite bearable, but this feels ridiculously dangerous. We shall keep going. I feel as if all my flowers are going to just fall apart at any minute. But as she says, as you pull it, as each stitch you cut, and you gently pull on it, oh no, look, is that green or grey? Oh no, it's green. Just thinking, oh, I'm about to cut my reinforcing. The ladder becomes clearer with every stitch you cut, so you're less likely to cut the wrong thing. Ah, now you see, that little green bit just did something funny because it was an end. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be right. And still, I continue to snip and remember to breathe at the same time. My hands are very sweaty. We are almost there. Oh, look at that. Isn't that amazing? And it does sit so nice and neatly. Of course, we have to knit over it, knitting the bands and the buttonholes. Okay, we're almost there. And then it will indeed be a cardigan and not a sweater. And I will have done my first, or cut rather, not done, but I will have cut my very first steek. One more bit of cutting through the binding off, which again seems dreadfully counterintuitive, and chop! Ta-da! We have a cardigan. There you go, the cutting of the steek.